What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ty, behind the camera, and sitting before us is the 2024 Jaguar XF. Now this one has the P300 engine and is in the R-Dynamic SE trim, and it's got a really nice color combination going for it. It's got the Fuji white exterior with the Mars red interior, so very, very nice looking XF for us to take a look at today. Now we're going to start off on the exterior, kind of get all of the features in. We'll then check out what powers the XF. We'll then see what the trunk looks like, and it's very, very big in this car. And we'll also check out the interior, starting off with the rear seats, see what's going on back there, and of course hop up to the front seats and check out all the technology that this XF has. So let's get straight into it up front here, where we do have full LED headlamps. So the high and low beams, daytime running lights, and turn signals are all LED powered. Looks beautiful, all illuminated. Very nice looking kind of projector bulbs on this car. Now this one also has headlight washers, as you can see that little cutout right there. And lots of glossy black accents on this car too. So we've got on the kind of side accents here. The main grille is all glossy black, as well as the lower grille. Now we do have parking sensors spanning the front bumper, and we could see kind of the blacked out Jaguar emblem. Usually in normal Jaguars we have all this part here surrounding the actual cat is in red, but this one's kind of blacked out. And then we also have the R-Dynamic logo too. Now the XF is a really nice sized vehicle, so it's got some pretty long overhangs, nice long hood, and a pretty long rear end too, so that means lots of interior space. If we take a look at our wheels, they're actually a combination of kind of a matte black and glossy black, so that's pretty neat. Our tires measure up at 255/35, with the wheels being 20 inches. And as you can see, most of the wheel is kind of the matte black color, but we have these kind of glossy black pockets. That's pretty cool. And we have the red brake calipers with the Jaguar branding poking out, nicely matching the red interior. We have our fender vent with the Jaguar emblem, again blacked out. And speaking of glossy black, again, all of our windows are surrounded. We have the mirrors in glossy black, so lots and lots of kind of blacked out elements on this car. Nice oversized sunroof too, if we take a look up here. We'll definitely see that once we hop inside. And our mirrors do have blind spot warning in them, as well as the turn signal indicator. All four door handles will have smart key entry, so you see a little button there to lock, and then just put your hand behind the handle to unlock. And a quick look at our window sticker reveals a couple of small odds and ends that are added onto the kind of basic version of the XF. So we have a couple of small things: driver's intelligence package, dynamic package, and the tailgate spoiler too is pretty nice, which I will show you in just a minute. Total cost for this particular vehicle is $59,433. Pretty good fuel economy too, for having quite a bit of power in this car. Beautiful design with this kind of kink that comes down into a nice rounded off area. We've got the shark fin antenna up top, and it also has a camera in it for the rear view camera mirror. And the rear of the vehicle has the same LED treatment as the front, so the taillights, brake lights, and the turn signals are all LED powered. Again, looks very nice, all illuminated. We have parking sensors back here, just like up front. And contrary to most vehicles would kind of have like a blacked out lower diffuser section, this is mostly body colored, and it gives it kind of a clean appearance. More glossy black back here, running the span of the trunk lid, and even the Jaguar Leaper is all in glossy black. We have a trunk popper right over here next to the reversing camera. And what do we think of the exterior design? I personally think this XF looks awesome. I always have loved the design of Jaguar sedans, and I'm glad this one's still around. By the way, I have to give a huge thanks to Jaguar of Hartford and Hartford, Connecticut for allowing me to borrow this car. They're nice enough to let me borrow this car for an hour or two of my time. They'll definitely be nice enough to help you out with your new Jaguar. So under the hood of the XF, we do have two different powertrains available. We have what's called the P250 and the P300. Now the P250 is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, producing 246 horsepower, 269 pound-feet of torque. That's hooked up to an 8-speed automatic and rear-wheel drive exclusively. Now, the one we are looking at today is the P300, so it's the same 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, but it's tuned up to 296 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. We have the same 8-speed automatic, and this one is exclusively all-wheel drive. So pretty neatly packaged underneath here with a pretty large engine cover, but you can clearly see the turbocharger right on the side of the engine. Lots of sound deadening material under here too, so we keep the unwanted engine noise out. Now we do have a power trunk lid on the XF, which is very nice. Now a lot of sedans have power trunk lids nowadays. And take a look at how much space there really is in the XF. It just keeps on going in. As you can see, if you need even more space, you can fold down the rear seats. And they do fold at a 40-20-40 split, and there's even a kind of pass-through option, so that's pretty cool. We even have some grocery bag hangers that fold down from the top, and some more hangers to either side. We also have tie downs in each corner of the trunk, and a little 12-volt power outlet there. Underneath the cargo floor, in case you're wondering, there is a spare wheel. To close the trunk, all you need to do is just locate the button. Let's take a glance at the interior of the XF, where you have our first preview at that Mars red interior. Very nice, very vibrant red, and it goes along good with the black exterior accents and the white paint color. Now, absolutely top-notch materials, where we have nice, soft leatherette up here with some red stitching. We also have some woodwork leading into bright work with your handle and Meridian speakers. By the way, 12 Meridian speakers in this car. We also have a lock-unlock button even at the back, and we have our beautiful window switch. Take a look at that. More bright work towards the bottom, a little bit of storage, and a larger speaker. We even have a little sill tray right here. Nice large entryway into the rear seats, and we do have full red interior. So we can see the headrests here will actually fold down at the press of a button. And we can even fold down the pass-through with this button here, so that will fold it down, kind of make it easier for you to have two passengers back here, as well as a little bit of cargo space. Then we can also fold down the armrest too for the rear passengers, and that has a couple of cup holders in it. So let's hop in and see how much room we have back here. Now again, the XF is a pretty nice size sedan. Though not as big as the older XJ, it's still a really good size. So I am 5'10". I adjusted this seat to a normal driving position for myself, and take a look. Quite a bit of room back here. Now you do have storage nets to each of the back of the seats. We have air vents, heated seats back here as well. 2 USB-C chargers and a 12-volt power outlet. And there's not a whole lot of room for a third passenger back here in the center. Although it is doable because there is a seat belt back here, I would keep it to smaller trips, but definitely really great amount of room for 2 passengers back here. Full black headliner, which goes along nicely with the red interior. We even have our LED lights back here, and our somewhat of a larger sunroof up front. Next, let's check out the front cabin. Let's take a look at the driver's door panel before we hop in. Again, same very nice materials as the rear seats. So we have leather up top, stitching, wood trim, lots of bright work throughout with our door handle and speaker grille. You have a lock unlock for the door locks, and then we also have not 2 but 3 memory positions for the driver's seat. Taking a look down here, we have more red stitching with that Mars red interior color, very nice looking. We have all of our window controls and kind of a capacitive touchpad over here where we have the child locks and all of your mirror adjustments with power folding. Down here we have a bit of storage and another large speaker just like the rear. Now on the front we do get a silk tray, but this time it says Jaguar. On the left of the dash we have some more stitching, air vents, and your kind of dash padding. And then as soon as you get in, you're greeted with this Jaguar logo. Down here we have a trunk release and your gauge dimmer. We have some very nice looking pedals too, kind of bright work down there on the pedals. Then we also have our hood release right over here. Take a look at these gorgeous seats. Now, sometimes I'm not really a fan of cars with a red leather interior, but I don't know, this one has just the right red coloring to the leather, and it does look very, very nice. The seats are dimpled in the center. There's lots of stitching, and it's also very customizable and movable. So we have 4-way lumbar in addition to all of the rest of the controls. We say we hop in and check out the rest of the technology. Now that we're seated inside of the XF and you have a kind of full dashboard layout, you can see that it's an absolutely gorgeous interior. It's classy yet modern, which is something that Jaguar definitely does very, very well. But here goes the key for the car. We've got the Jaguar logo on the back and the other buttons on the front of the key. So we have lock, unlock. You can flash your headlights to kind of find your car in a dark parking lot. You can pop your trunk or set off the panic alarm if you'd like. And there's also a physical key on the inside in case you need it. But otherwise, we do have push button start right next to the shifter. And that 296 horsepower 4-cylinder will come right to life. Now, first things first, let's check out the steering wheel. So very, very visually appealing steering wheel here. This is probably one of the nicest looking steering wheels in the business right now. Very nice grip bolsters here and up a little bit further too. Nice soft leather on the steering wheel. A little bit of glossy black with some kind of touch sensitive buttons and some bright work too. But very gorgeous looking steering wheel on this car. Now this side is primarily to do with some media and also some adjustments with your screen there. So we've got voice recognition, Bluetooth phones, and a programmable button there. And now this scroller wheel actually acts as 2 different functions. One, it could heighten or decrease your audio volume. And we also have the arrows here, which will change different radio stations. But if you press in, that will actually start adjusting the screen there. And I'll show you how that works in just a minute. Now over here we have all of our adaptive cruise control settings, our heated steering wheel button, and to turn on and off our lane keeping assist, easy. Now on the back of the steering wheel, we have some pretty massive paddle shifters. As you can see, it comes from the bottom of the spoke all the way up to the top, and they are real metal and feel very nice in your hands. Then we've also got the adjustment for the powered tilt and telescoping steering wheel right here. I always forget on Jaguar Land Rovers that the adjustment is actually on this side of the steering column, not on this side like mostly every other manufacturer. On the back of the steering wheel, we do have a couple of stalks for your headlights, your high beams, kind of an informational button at the end there, which I'll show you what that does in just a second. You can also toggle on and off your rear fog lamps, and then also your turn signals. And of course, to the other side, we have our wipers control. So Let's take a look at our fully digital dash. Now there's kind of a couple of different setups and then some also different information within each setup that we could go through. First of all, I want to talk about the end of the knob here. Now if you press that button in, it'll kind of change what you see right down here. So currently it's showing us our distance till empty. We could show it a blank screen. And there's also some other things like the date, current, like trip settings, real-time miles per gallon, and average. So that's pretty cool. And then we also have these buttons. So again, once you press in this scrolling wheel, that turns into an adjustment for the screen here. So let's go and see what kind of info we could see in the center of this info panel. So we could either see navigation, what's going on with the radio, trip A or trip B settings, driver's assistance, or just a kind of empty panel with a picture of the Jaguar XF on there. Now if we click that button again, we can go to display layout. Now I believe there is, yes, there's 5 different display layouts. We're staring at the 2 dial. We go down to the 1 dial. That's kind of what it will look like. You have 2 different information panels that you can choose from. If we click in again, let's go back to, let's see what the map layout looks like. So primarily a large map with your digital speedometer up top. You can adjust it again to show a media focus. And we can adjust it once more to show a driver's assistance screen. So kind of pop up with all of your lane keeping assist and all of that good stuff in there. And once you press it back in, we can go back to our 2 dial setup, which is probably what everybody's going to use, maybe with the navigation in the center. That would be nice. But basically in this setup, it'll show you your large tachometer, large speedometer, and within the speedometer you have your gas gauge, and within the tachometer you have your coolant temperature right at the bottom. So pretty nice gauge cluster, very, very configurable, and I really do like it. And the controls to adjust it are pretty intuitive too, just as long as you remember that this is used both for volume and adjustment of that screen. Now we also have a heads-up display on this car too, which is very nice. As you can see, or as you may not be able to see, it is displaying the current speed and kind of what gear we're in. Of course, more adjustments are available to see. And that brings me down to our dashboard, which is a very nice soft to the touch material. It definitely has some give in it and some red stitching too, which is very nice. A couple of air vents just below and your hazards button. Nice use of bright work in this car too, and lots of stitching and a good amount of wood. So kind of this panel here that goes across is all wood. That brings me down to this gorgeous touchscreen. It kind of gives you the illusion that it's floating, and it's actually a curved display. So that is pretty cool. Now we'll kind of give you the basics of this screen here. Now we kind of have a home right here, although you can move over to see other things, and you can also adjust kind of the home screen too. We have shortcuts over here, profiles you could set up, and then kind of a display of all of the different apps within the car. Over here we can pull up the reversing camera and our parking sensors. And then we also have a bunch of settings that you can configure right over here, such as your gauge brightness, different themes to the screen. So you can kind of have an automatic or a dark theme, which is pretty cool. We can also turn off your auto start stop feature right there. We have some audio adjustments, and then kind of, I guess, all the rest of your adjustments on the screen. But if we go to here, we could kind of pull up all the different apps. This is our built-in navigation, and you can kind of search for different destinations up top. We of course have your different accounts and also your seat adjustments, so you could turn on and off your heated seats from here, although there is a physical adjustment, which I'm very glad to say. I'll show you just a minute about that. We can also adjust the climate control partially through the screen with kind of where the air comes out. Pull up your cameras, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. We can also activate the valet mode. You can get economy data with the car, so kind of your trip computers and things like that. We also have a pretty neat energy impact screen, which is kind of showing you which is taking up the most energy. So like if you turn on the heated steering wheel, that'll show up there how much energy it's taking up. Same thing with your heated seats, defrosters, and things like that. We also have eco tips in here, which is pretty cool. Kind of get you to train yourself to drive a little bit more economy focused. And you also have a history of fuel economy and things like that. That's a pretty neat section of the screen there, the economy. We also have a similar system, but for the dynamics of the vehicle. So you can kind of turn on and off all of the different kind of features here. So put the engine in a dynamic or comfort setting, same with the rest of the things there. So that's pretty cool. Kind of a programmable driving mode, if you will. We also have a stopwatch, which is pretty cool. Different lap times and a G meter, which is awesome. We also have the pedal graph right here, which shows you real-time braking and throttle inputs. So that's pretty neat. And then there's also a graph that goes along with it. We have a low traction launch, so it kind of modulates the traction control there. We have our voice commands, a phone screen, as well as our media here. So this will kind of pull up all of your radio stations, kind of what's playing at the current moment, and your presets. And we can adjust the source right up there at the top. If we go back in, just a couple of other things. We have our cabin lighting, so various different mood lighting going on here, ambient lighting, I guess you could say. And you can also adjust your own color, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You can pick your own color, kind of adjust it like so. And then we also have this kind of all-surface information, which gives you your all-wheel drive data, kind of what wheels are turning at what time. And then we also have kind of your driving mode descriptions, which is pretty neat. So dynamic mode gives you a description there, same with comfort, eco, and kind of advanced traction control there. So very, very nice screen, extremely easy to get used to, and it's very, very appealing to the eyes. Again, you have like a couple of different themes to the screen. You can adjust all kinds of stuff. But the good thing is most of your climate controls are in a physical format just below the screen. So you can see we have two large knobs here, primarily used for your temperatures, but if we pull like so, that'll adjust your fan speeds like that. If we push in, it'll go back to the temperatures. If we push in once more, that will adjust your heated seats. So very nice use of the knobs here to kind of declutter the area below with the climate control. So that's pretty cool. A couple of buttons in the center I'd like to go over. This is kind of your seat controls for the menu there, like we saw earlier. And all of these buttons are kind of a capacitive touch. So if you press, kind of like rest your hand on them, it won't do anything. You actually kind of have to press in a little bit. You'll feel a slight vibration at your fingertips, and that's when it will actually perform the function. We have an automatic climate control, obviously, for the 2 zones of climate. Then we can also adjust where the air comes out. Now that's really the only button that's not at a physical format that you have to actually press this button and adjust. The rest of the climate controls are there. We have our recirculating for the AC, rear and front defrosters, and then our AC controls right there. Just below we have our wireless charging pad for your cell phone. And right here we have a small array of buttons as well as our gear shifter. So we have the engine start stop button right there. Our audio volume, which is a pretty neat placement for that. On the other side we have a couple of quick buttons here. So we have a kind of hill descent control button right there, traction control off, and then we can also press this knob in for your driving mode and adjust, and the adjustments will come up over here what mode you're in. So we have our dynamic mode, so we could see the gauges kind of turn into this red hue, which is pretty cool. Comfort, which switches it back to a more normal kind of silvery look. Eco mode, which kind of appears to be green, and then the kind of all-terrain, I guess, kind of mode that turns everything blue. So that's pretty cool that you can kind of pop in and out this little adjustment right here. Last but not least, we have our gear shifter, which is kind of this really neat kind of suede material with some stitching. There is a little unlock at the back of the shifter, so we can pull it straight down into drive. At that point, you can bump it over, kind of move it back again and put the transmission into a sport mode. And then using that same unlock button all the way up is for reverse. Again, your kind of backup camera and guidance lines, as well as parking sensors will pull up. And to put it into park, it's simply just press the P button right there. And that will actually automatically activate your parking brake. As you see, there's not really a physical button in here for a parking brake. Simply put, pressing the P for the park and the transmission also activates the parking brake. So that's pretty cool. We have a lid right here that we can open up to see a little bit of storage, and it's pretty large cup holders actually, and a 12-volt power outlet. Right here we have a armrest which you can lift up, and there is a little bit of storage. It actually goes in pretty deep. We have a USB-C and a regular USB connection in there. Just a really gorgeous interior layout for this car. Now taking a look at the top again, we have the full black headliner. When we fold down the visors, you can see we have a mirror and light. Of course, the sunshade blocks most of the light coming in, although it is a little bit translucent, so you can definitely see the clouds on a nice sunny day. Up here we have all the adjustments for the sunroof and sunshade. So the sunshade is actually powered on this car, which is very nice. So the sunshade button is this one, and the sunroof opening operation is this one, so it's pretty cool. We have servicing and SOS buttons up here, and some pretty cool tap lights. So we just tap like so and the lights will go on. And that brings me up to our rear view mirror. Now visibility in this car is actually pretty good for a sedan. We do have a nice large rear window and some corner windows too, and the view out the back from the rear view mirror is pretty good as well. Keep in mind you can also fold down the rear headrests, or to get better visibility you just flip this switch right here and that turns into a camera mirror. Yes, this car does have one of those camera mirrors, which is very nice. Now also attached to the mirror you have your garage door home links. So you have 3 garage door home links on this car, and then you also have some adjustments for that camera mirror. So I think that pretty much does it for all of the features on the Jaguar XF for 2024. Absolutely gorgeous car with the classic English styling on the outside and on the inside, especially a very nice color combination on this particular car. I hope you have enjoyed the Jaguar XF just as much as I have, and I hope you stick with us here on Ty Drives for more videos just like this one.